They clinched a spot in the playoffs, and they are on the verge of a franchise record in wins. It's time to get up and cheer, Red Nation. Rockets basketball is next on Comcast Sportsnet. Live from Toyota Center in downtown Houston, Comcast Sportsnet presents Houston Rockets basketball. Tonight, the Rockets taking on the high-flying Los Angeles Clippers. Hi, everybody. I'm Bill Worrell, and you know these two guys, Matt, and what's your name again? I forgot. Anyway, Calvin Murphy.
Oh, what's his name?
Anyway, we've got a good one for you tonight, and we checked the standings. They get a little tighter because going into tonight's game, the Clippers losing last night, Houston losing last night, Utah, the Lakers, and Dallas. Dallas won earlier today. Big game here for the Houston Rockets tonight, and they will be without James Harden, and that's going to be tough. Harden is struggling. He's got a sore left foot or right foot. I can't remember which one it is right now. But anyway, Jeremy Lin's going to be in the starting lineup for Houston tonight, and he's going against one of the best in the business.
If not the best. Chris Paul and Jeremy, what a great matchup at the point guard position. You see what they're doing against each other? 13-8 for Jeremy, 17-9 for Chris, which is close to the season average. Jeremy with the quick move, the blow-by as we call it. Up and in, and when he's shooting the three, you're going to need to see a lot of this from Jeremy tonight. He's got to be ultra-aggressive to try to combat what Chris Paul does. And he does everything. Run that pick and roll to perfection. Great mid-range game. Paul shoots over 48% from the field. One of the best lob throwers in the game. Chris Paul is a consummate point guard.
And Bull at that power forward position, a little change tonight for Kevin McHale.
Yeah, Kevin McHale went with a little more beef inside. Greg Smith has been playing well this last couple of games. He's going to need to play very, very good tonight, guarding one of the best power forwards in the league in Blake Griffin. Now remember, a couple games ago, Greg Smith had 18 points and 19 rebounds. If he can repeat that kind of performance, the Rockets have a good chance of winning this game tonight. But Blake Griffin is a very, very good player. He's second in the NBA in and-one buckets behind only James Harden. But he is playing with a sore back tonight, so we'll see how he goes.
Clippers lost to Dallas and San Antonio as they come into Houston tonight to finish this road trip. Rockets would like to make it 3 in a row to Texas teams. We'll be back with the tip-off in just a moment on Comcast Sportsnet. Sportsnet is brought to you by your local Toyota dealer. By the Houston Can Academies. When you donate your car, truck, boat, or RV to the kids at Houston Can, you will receive a pair of Houston Rockets tickets to an upcoming game. And by Memorial Hermann, official healthcare provider of the Houston Rockets. Welcome everybody inside Toyota Center as we are just about set for tonight's tip-off, as it'll be the Rockets against the Los Angeles Clippers. 10 more games left to play in the regular season. Let's take a look at the Toyota starting lineups. And for your Houston Rockets tonight, no James Harden. James has a foot injury, will not play. So James Anderson will start, along with Jeremy Lin, Omer Asik, Chandler Parsons, and Greg Smith will be starting for Mota Yunus, who is out and will play, come off the bench tonight. But they want a little more muscle with Greg Smith in the lineup. Chris Paul, Willie Green, DeAndre Jordan, who's a Houston youngster, went to Texas A&M, Caron Butler, the veteran, and Blake Griffin, the high flyer for the Los Angeles Clippers, who lead the NBA in dunks. Let's go to a guy who does not lead the NBA in dunks, Bart Ennis.
And never will. You know, Bill, I'm seeing a lot of puzzled faces in the crowd right now as they just watched the starting lineups, and there's now dawning on them that James Anderson starting in place of James Harden. Everybody's kind of looking around going, James Anderson. Well, for those of you that don't know a lot about this guy, pretty darn good player. All-American out of Oklahoma State, was the 20th overall pick in 2011 by the Spurs, making a start tonight for the Rockets for the first time. And this is a guy that, strangely enough, hasn't played that much, but he's gotten significant minutes once before against the Clippers back on February 13th when Harden was hurt. And Anderson was one of the first guys off the bench as Delfino was moved into the starting lineup. And on that night, Anderson led bench scorers with 14 points, played 25 minutes, and played pretty darn well. So this guy, every time they've called on him, Bill, he has given them some pretty good production. So they're expecting the same from him tonight.
Yeah, he really has, and he did a good job last night in Memphis, and with Harden limping along, and we'll see if Anderson now is pumped up enough to get it going tonight. The Clippers have won their last 5 games against the Houston Rockets, and Kevin McHale knows that, and he knows right now his team is shorthanded, but he's been in this league and around this league long enough to know that you put a hungry player in there who can play and is a professional, a lot of good things can happen. So let's see if Greg Smith answers the charge tonight. Vinny Del Negro down the way enters his 3rd season as the head coach of the Los Angeles Clippers, and they're on their way to a record-breaking season. The Clippers are 49-24 and on the verge of posting the first 50-win season in their franchise history. The highest up to then was the Buffalo Braves. Let's take a look at the Lexus keys to the game.
Well, they got to jump on the Clippers quickly, establish that home court dominance. They've been behind from start to finish in the last 2 games. They got to pick it up. They got to contain the pick and roll with Chris Paul, and they have to shoot the ball well tonight to beat the Clippers.
Omer Asik wins the tip. Rockets will have it to start the 4th quarter. Anderson now will be played a little differently, I would imagine, than the Clippers would have played Harden. And they're going to go to Smith down low on Blake Griffin. Makes him work right off the bat. One-on-one over Griffin for 2.
I like that move by Kevin McHale. Greg Smith is a very physical player, very strong. He's going to give Blake Griffin, if he can stay out of foul trouble, he's going to give him a tough time on the low post.
Blake doesn't block a lot of shots, so he's not a real shot blocker. He's more of a dunker as he takes it up. Very physical, won't get the call. I know he wanted it. When a team has to come to Texas, they're pretty lucky. There's Jeremy taking it down, back outside to Parsons now, and Parsons floats it up. That's a little too flat, knocked out of bounds by Jordan.
And you know the Clippers have great shot blockers in DeAndre Jordan. He is the one. He will throw it out of there.
And we talked about this coaching move to give Greg Smith a touch on the post for the first play. I like that. If you're gonna count on him to play defense, why not give him the ball, get him started?
I agree. Make Griffin work on both ends of the court.
The officials for tonight's game: James Capers, Sean Corbin, Olandis Poole. Capers, Corbin, and Poole, the officials for tonight's game. Greg Smith outside. Jeremy Lin got picked up by Blake Griffin, and another errant bounce pass.
Tell you what, Jeremy's going to have to be aggressive tonight because he can score more than his 12-point average if he's aggressive against the Clippers.
Caron Butler, the veteran, going down to Chris Paul, wants to post up Jeremy Lin. They want to get Paul going early as he misses the jump shot. Paul was bumped in Brooklyn on this road trip, and his right knee was a little wobbly, but he's gone ahead and played the rest of the road trip, and there's a great move by Omer Asik. 4-0 run to start the game for Houston, who Rockets have been getting off to some miserable starts lately. And there's a foul on Smith. One of the reasons Smith is in the starting lineup is Kevin McHale said, look, truthfully, before you could pronounce Mota Yunus, he was sitting back on the bench next to me with 2 fouls. So he just thought that this was a learning time for Demo, and he would be better to go with Smith tonight and see if he could use Demo off the bench.
Well, it's a good move because they're all young power forwards. I don't know if anybody's earned the right to be called the starter yet. You got to produce to get.
Yeah, and I was talking to the coaches before the game. They said we're not veteran enough to have guys that we can put out there and say he's going to be the starter. We've got some guys that have some good qualities, and we might have to adjust our lineup to use those qualities when we need them.
You know, that's tough for the other team to match up against because really they can't key on one guy.
Griffin gets both free throws.
They don't know who they're going to face, so you have an element of mystery.
All right, Lin takes it down, gets a double team, and the foul is called on the Clippers, and it's called on DeAndre Jordan.
And that's a good point you bring up, Clyde. Is the Clippers prepared to play against James Harden? They didn't know James was not going to play until right before the game. So their pregame preparations are now, they've got to adjust.
Completely.
Everybody's been doubling him. And Lin with a pass all the way out to Anderson, and he misses. And up ahead to Griffin.
Power forward, handling the ball in transition.
Ron Butler trying to get the alley-oop. They lead the league in alley-oop dunk shots with the acrobatic DeAndre Jordan and Blake Griffin going to the basket.
Did you see their warm-up?
Yep.
It was a dunk show. There was a
Clyde,
good foul by Anderson.
I saw that back in the 80s with Phi Slamma Jamma.
Yeah, but you don't see it on too many teams now with Blake and DeAndre and even Willie Green and Eric Bledsoe.
So were some of those dunks, were they dunk contest worthy?
Absolutely.
Then why isn't Blake Griffin in the dunk contest?
Good question. I'd like to see him in there, bro. I'd like to see DeAndre Jordan in there.
Anderson got the rebound. Jeremy Lin all the way to the bucket.
That's what Jeremy's got to do tonight. He's got to take over the leadership of this team, take over the attacking the rim, and we know he can do that. He was insane last year doing that.
Clippers now 0 for 3. Back outside to Chris Paul. Gives it up to Griffin. Doesn't want to shoot from there. And Omer Asik takes it away. Here's Parsons. Got to beat Butler to the rack, and he does. Chandler Parsons and the Rockets race out to an 8-2 lead, and that's what Chandler would look like with a beard.
I'll tell you, this is when teams have a letdown. The Clippers, with James Harden not playing, they probably took it easy, but that's when you're most vulnerable.
Ron Butler, and that's where they really do the damage. The Clippers, one of the excellent three-point shooting teams, up ahead to Smith, and the second turnover of the game for Jeremy Lin.
Yeah, he's got to take better care of the basketball because every possession will be important in tonight's game.
Butler is an excellent shooter from the outside, and that's what he gives them. Chris Paul turns around the corner now. There's Butler again, and Parsons a little late getting out there. Now nobody to get the rebound. Butler takes it inside. Good job by Asik and Smith. And two Clippers get caught now. The Rockets have a two-man advantage, and there it is. Omer Asik with a slam. DeAndre Jordan and Caron Butler got tangled up at the other end, and both went down. The Rockets had the advantage.
And the other Clippers had no awareness of protecting the basket. DeAndre Jordan went right out to the wing to contest the ball.
Willie Green came over from Philadelphia. He's one of those free agent signings for the Clippers.
Been a seasoned veteran, a good pickup for the Clippers.
Butler on the perimeter, down to 8 seconds. Griffin right back to Butler, beats Parsons around the left side. Asik with a great defensive play. Jeremy Lin in the open court. Rockets playing much better interior defense tonight. Inside to Omer, and he's fouled on the play, and boy, that hurts. They were going to make sure that he didn't dunk the ball.
Go back to the block. I think Chandler may have, he did get ball. He got a little bit of arm too, but then you're out on the fast break, and this foul here is a playoff caliber foul.
Wow. Caron Butler hit him in the back of the head. Actually, I mean, golly.
Who did they call it on? Green? They called it on Green.
That was borderline flagrant, guys.
Remember, Omer Asik had a broken nose earlier this season.
Parsons, he should have shot that ball, guys. Yeah, he should have shot that ball. He was right there for the shot. Third turnover of the game in Houston.
He heard it from the bench, and he said, yeah, you know, my fault, I got it.
Both Chandler and Jeremy so far tonight have gotten up in the air, changed their shot, and just bad passes. I'd rather see you shoot it.
And a whistle, offensive foul on DeAndre Jordan, and that's number 2 on Jordan. They called it on Butler, I'm sorry.
Clippers getting off to a very slow start, guys. The Rockets doing what they should be doing.
Parsons in the corner. Butler right up in his grill, and a whistle, and 3 seconds is called on Asik. That's 4 turnovers by Houston here in the early going. Got to keep those turnovers down. The Rockets are the worst in the league. They turn it over the most, but they also shoot it the most.
Yeah, they have the most possessions of any team in the league, so they're going to have a lot of chances to turn it over.
Greg Smith turned his head just a fraction of a second. You cannot take your eye off of these guys.
Especially with Chris Paul handling the ball.
Isn't that the truth?
He will find you.
He is slick. For my money, he's the best in the league.
I agree.
There he is. He leads the league in steals, too. And he got one there. There's another alley-oop. And Jordan was out of position. Parsons right back the other way. Takes it up with the left hand for two. Chandler Parsons. He got off to a good start in Memphis last night. Ron Butler with an extra pass to Willie Green from the corner for three.
See, both of those guys can really shoot it. They help space the court for the pick and roll action.
Green's a 41% three-point shooter.
Asha gets it 10 feet away from the basket. He stops and says, what do I do now? Oh, yeah.
That's what you do. You invent a shot.
That's what it's going to take tonight. They got to keep that scoreboard moving.
Yeah, the Rockets are definitely playing at their pace, the way they want to play, which is a good sign because the last two games, they've been slowed down by the other team's defense.
Got to get a body on him, too, and Jordan came out of left field. He's a young man, played his high school ball here in Houston, still lives here. Went to Texas A&M. Yeah, Bel Air. Well, he lives in Bel Air. He played at the Christian Life Academy. So we have a timeout called on the court with 5:45 left to play. The Rockets are shooting 78% and only leading by 2.
Welcome back to Toyota Center. 5:45 left in the first here. Rockets lead the Clippers by 2. And you know what, Red Nation, it's time to go green. The Rockets are hosting Environmental Awareness Night on Monday, presented by Republic Services, when they take on the Orlando Magic. The first 3,000 fans in attendance will receive Rockets reusable water bottles. Tickets are still available and start at just $10. You can get those tickets at Rockets.com. Bill, back to you.
Well, Keith Jones going green tonight, the Rockets head trainer.
What, is he going straight to the Easter egg hunt from here?
Yes,
he's getting ready for the Masters.
No, he's getting ready for the last round of the Shell Houston Open tomorrow.
Keith Jones, the legend of Keith Jones, continues. Greatest guy ever.
Probably disposable pants. Points in the paint, the Rockets 14-4 edge over the Clippers in the paint. Greg Smith. Already gone one-on-one with Griffin. Now he goes back the other way. Jordan comes over to block it. Whoa, what a great second effort by Smith. Looked over his right shoulder and he saw Jordan come over, and then he went over his left. The Rockets have only missed 2 shots to start the game now. 8 of 10. Griffin. He's improved with that jump shot now from about 15 feet. That's something he didn't have. That's another part of his arsenal as he keeps adding to his repertoire.
Yeah, if he can make that, it's going to be impossible to guard.
But, you know, amazingly, he doesn't block a lot of shots, and he doesn't really rebound too well either. So late in games, Clippers are...
Yeah, just 8 rebounds a game.
How about Lynn? Filling it up. Jeremy off to a great start with 5 points.
One of the things when you're starting 2 big men like Greg Smith and Omer Asik is the Rockets are not going to have the same floor spacing. But Jeremy and Chandler have done a nice job of knocking down those outside shots so far.
Ron Butler has already hit 1 3, and he misses on that one. Good job by Parsons to keep contact with him. 4:23 left.
He turned down the open look, and then he shot it with Parsons right in his face. You figure.
James Anderson puts up a 3. Missed it. Long rebound. Chris Paul always pointing, leading the team. Jordan with the tip in.
On the offensive boards, that's an area where the Clippers can really hurt you. You got to get up there and block them out, put a body on them.
Yeah, the Rockets destroyed in Memphis last night on the boards. Inside, nice pass, and Anderson threw it up, wasn't there, and Smith is right there to clean it up. Good job by Greg Smith, and he's really been playing well lately.
He has, and he looks like he's playing within himself right now. You know, he's not trying to do too much. He's not playing too fast. Doing a really nice job.
Anderson knocks it away. Lynn knocks it over to Asik, gets it right back to Anderson, cross court to Parsons. Nice little fake, got around Caron Butler, used the glass and missed the shot. Chris Paul in a hurry. Runs a pick and roll better than any guard in the league.
And also shooter.
Yep, he can do it all. And if you get down to the end of a game,
he will take it over.
he'll shoot 90%. Or at least he'll get somebody the shot. There's a steal. That's the second of the game for Chris Paul. 6th turnover by Houston. And Willie Green misses. Too many turnovers.
Well, and the Clippers are the #1 team in the league at taking turnovers and turning them into points.
Because they play above the rim, and in transition, normally they get dunks or layups.
There's another one. He knows the offense. He knew where Lynn was going. That's a 3rd steal for Chris Paul. Already. Willie Green with a 3 at the other end.
You don't want to give Willie too many shots at him. He's not going to miss too many open looks.
Will he make it? Yes, he will.
Yes, he will. Willie Green. Very solid. He's a veteran. He knows what he's out there to do.
Oh, no. Grab him, will you, Clyde? 7-2 run by Chris Paul. And let's go to Howard.
Bill, the Twitter question tonight was, which one was the most memorable dunk so far this season for the Rockets? L.J. Baring tweeted, Harden's dunk in Utah was pretty sick, mainly because of the force he flushed it down with. Dev Jr. 84 tweeted, Greg Smith against Splitter and the Spurs. Hands down the best this season. I jumped off my couch. Those moments are Red Nation. Keep on tweeting me at HoChenCSN. I'll be back a little bit later to read the best tweets on TV. Bill, back over to you.
Well, he had to jump pretty high because I was jumping with him as you check out Greg Smith again.
Oh, right over the top. The big fella.
That was LeBron-like.
I'd like to see a lot more of that because he can do that.
Yeah, he's very athletic. Good young player, Greg Smith.
Demo is subbed in for him because I saw Greg Smith was calling for a sub. He was out of breath. That's what happens to young guys in their first start. That adrenaline and that excitement and that nervousness wears you out. You got to get a rest and catch your second win.
Yeah, 10 straight minutes. He's been very active. Oh, yeah, he's dead tired.
Got to learn how to breathe.
Patrick Beverly in the game along with Moti Yunus. Ashik stays in. Beverly feeds him. Already 6 points for Omer. Turns around. Passes back outside. Patrick Beverly is wide open. Rockets are going to have to hit those opportunistic threes. The Clippers started out the game 1 for 7. Since then, they've gone 7 for 12 in the last 6 minutes. So the Clippers starting to heat up a little bit.
Yeah, they're starting to get their offense together. A little bit more chemistry. Make some shots.
Basket from the outside. Good.
Matt Barnes, another one of those spot-up shooters. You don't want to leave him.
Matt Barnes has been everywhere. He's played everywhere. And he's still a good, serviceable player off the bench. There's Anderson taking it inside. That's goaltending.
That's goaltending.
And Anderson tries it again and got it inside of Holland.
You got 3 Clippers there. It's like, are you guys aware that there's a guy at your basket?
Well, good job by James Anderson to stay with it. He thought that was a goaltend too, just like we did, but he's kept after it. Didn't hear the whistle, kept playing.
Should have been goaltending.
Back outside, Griffin from the elbow, extended, and he hits.
Yeah, if he can make that shot, he spaces the court, and he's going to be pretty much unguardable in that high pick and roll.
Ryan Holland's in the game now for the Clippers. Delfino gets it back to Omer. Omer's in the lane, and he's been in there a long time. Moti Yunus puts it up and in. Demo with a great offensive putback.
On the boards, I like to see it. That's what it's going to take tonight. Got to get some hustle points.
You can't do that.
That's a foul. Now, Demo's got to try to stay in the game longer than 2 minutes.
Yeah, there's no doubt because he's doing a nice job on the glass, but on the defensive end, you got to just be solid. You don't go for a poke check from behind.
So he's playing power forward, and everybody at the Western Conference got some pretty strong power forwards. So he's at a disadvantage.
So Lamar Odom in the game now. Chris Paul going to shoot the 3 from the outside and hit.
2-for-1 shot for Chris Paul. Very aware of the clock.
You think Patrick Beverly is in awe playing against Chris Paul?
He won't admit it, but I'm sure he is.
Of course he is.
Clippers now lead by 1. First lead of the game for LA. Patrick Beverly calling the play. Everybody looking around.
Interesting high pick and roll. Demo wide open.
Double team on Beverly and almost a steal by Chris Paul. Back over to Demo. Demo with the fake. Got it off in time and rims it out. And the loose ball foul is called on LA.
Stay here.
So Omer Ashik battling inside with Hollins. You see Hollins is trying to keep that big load off the glass. Not going to happen with your arms. You got to use your lower body, like you always say, Clyde.
And do your work early. See, he's in a help position, so when the shot goes up, he's out of position to rebound. And once Ashik gets his position, forget about it. He's got strong legs. You're not going to move him.
And Ryan Hollins picks up his first foul. He's been getting a lot of time behind DeAndre Jordan. And he's a veteran out of UCLA. Delfino will bring it in. 6 seconds left. No shot clock. 3 seconds. Beverly puts it up. And the buzzer goes off, and that ends the quarter. So the Houston Rockets shoot 60% from the field and still lose the first quarter.